TV.
What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, aka Darth Apocalypse. Alright, so before I get into this video, shout out to the brother, the man, the myth, the legend, the brother Rubber Mason coming through with the $50 donation to the channel via the PayPal. So for showing love once again. I truly appreciate it. Long time subscriber. And this is one of two requests that he had for me. He wanted me to talk about how it's erroneous when a lot of people are comparing Jalen Brunson to Allen Iverson. And the way in which they played basketball was not similar. I think people just tend to show their recency bias with that. Number one, Brunson is a better shooter from outside than Iverson is, or was. Jalen Brunson obviously can score in ISO, but if you watch Brunson, he gives more effort on defense, although he's not a great individual defender. And to me, he moves better off the ball than Iverson did. He's more effective off the ball than Iverson, even though Brunson does have a high usage rate. Also, Brunson is a guy that utilizes his physicality a little bit more. And of course, he's left-handed. He's tough and he's physical. And although he doesn't post guys up in certain matchups, you do see him often get the better of bigger or perceived to be bigger guys because of his physicality and his strength. Brunson's listed at 6'2", 190, I believe, 195. And a guy who he's similar to, basketball-wise, more similar to, is a guy that played basketball about 50 years ago. And that would be Gail Goodrich, a.k.a. Stumpy. Now, Gail Goodrich is a UCLA legend who has been forgotten over time. Matter of fact, I believe before Bill Walton, before Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, it was Gail Goodrich that led UCLA to, I believe it was either back-to-back titles or back-to-back finals appearances with one title. I forget what the actual record is with him on that score. But Gail Goodrich was left-handed. He was a great combo guard. In a day, before there was a three-point line, he could give you, for his career, he averaged 18.6 points per game. But some of that was affected by a couple of things. Number one, like Jalen Brunson, his career got off to a slow start. And I'll get to that in a moment. But he was left-handed. He could be very physical. He could post guys up when he played. Back when we saw point guards or even smaller guards have post games. And he could shoot. And he peaked at 25 points per game. And that's playing with Jerry West and without a three-point line. But like I said, he kind of had some similarities to Jalen Brunson because initially he started with the Lakers, but he played behind, a guy like Jerry West and others. And he didn't really get much playing time. he was seen as somewhat expendable, and there were questions about how successful he would be in the NBA. I'm talking about Gail Goodrich because of his size. Some people thought because of his size, and some people thought because they didn't really get to see enough of him, they thought he didn't have enough ability to succeed at a high level in the NBA. So he was traded to the Phoenix Suns. And it was with Phoenix that Gail Goodrich signed. He became a perennial all-star for a few years, I should say, with Phoenix before he was traded back to the Lakers. And he formed a tandem with Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. But by this point in time, Gail Goodrich was in the prime of his career while he was playing with Jerry West, who at this point was actually playing more point guard, although they could be interchangeable at point, which made them a very fearsome backcourt because they both could score, although West was declining as a player. They could both score, but also had playmaking ability. So that's where the similarities are with Brunson. Brunson's like Gail Goodrich is left-handed, a combo guard who can score at a very high clip, but possesses playmaking ability. And both perceived to be undersized, but played a lot bigger than what their size indicates. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the only similarity that you really could think of when it comes to Jalen Brunson and Allen Iverson is heart. Now, when it comes to that, they both have some similarities, obviously. And of course, Gail Goodrich, not only was he a collegiate champion, but he also won an NBA championship in 1972 with the Los Angeles Lakers. But because he played on a team that had outsized personalities like Will Chamberlain and a guy perceived to be the face of the league and Jerry West, he doesn't get as much notoriety as he once did. And now he's kind of forgotten. But yeah, I would say Jalen Brunson is the closest we've ever seen. Well, he's superseded Gail Goodrich, I have to say. But they're the closest. By the way, if I didn't say this, Gail Goodrich was about 6'1" and 175 pounds. Now, in the 50s and early 60s, that would have been considered an average size guard or just about average. But even by the 1970s, you start seeing guards 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", even 6'6". So even by that era standards, Goodrich was undersized, but he could score and be as potent as anybody else. And, if I'm not mistaken, they're both underrated rebounders for their position. Man, that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.